Welcome to the Cult Classic Horror Show. Every week, you can have the conversations you've always wanted to have about the films you love.
Shut up!
We're gonna get you. Not another peep. Kinda
Get rid of your distractions and prepare yourself.
Fold and lock your door. 5, 6, gonna crucifix.
You got a big surprise coming to you. You're not going anywhere.
Welcome, everybody, to the Cult Classic Horror Show. This is Danny Bonin here with you.
Hello, everyone. Scotty Bonin here as well.
We are the Blood Brothers.
The Blood Brothers back in action.
We have to start using that. That's what we agreed on with our partner, Trevor.
We come from the same blood.
The Blood Brothers. So before we, we share the same blood, and we're also, we're brothers, but then there's a lot of blood and horror. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. We can actually prove to you guys by
in case you guys didn't figure that out by yourselves, blood and horror.
We'll send you guys our blood so you can compare them to make sure that they're the same blood.
So before we move on with the episode, I just want to let everyone know that we're now streaming live on Periscope. So I got my phone set up over here, and if you're watching on Periscope, you can actually see us talking to each other. But no one's watching this right now, so it's like a test run for us.
Yes.
So those of you guys listening to this episode, go ahead and download Periscope on your phone. You can get it in the App Store, either the Google Play or the App Store for Apple, and follow us. Just when you download the app, it connects to your Twitter. And search for us and just type in Cult Horror Show, because that's what our name is on Twitter, Cult Horror Show, and then you can follow us, and then it will let you know whenever we are streaming live on Periscope. So why would you want to do that? Well, first of all, you get to see our beautiful faces.
Yes, our beautiful mugs.
You can watch us as we talk and bullshit.
And this beautiful white door behind me, too. It's just,
exactly.
It's great.
Yeah, you can see my office in my house.
Yeah.
And then the other reason you might want to do that is because we're streaming live. Like, we're actually streaming on Periscope right now as we're recording this episode. And you sort of get VIP access or early access to the episodes because, for instance, right now it's Thursday, and we just recorded an episode last night, last minute, for Reanimator. But since we're out of town this next week, we're recording the episode right now for A Nightmare on Elm Street, for all things Freddy in the month of February.
Oh, you just gave it away.
I know. And so those of you who are, which is no one right now, but those of you who would be possibly watching us live on Periscope would be seeing this episode an entire week early.
Yeah. Lucky you guys.
Yeah, so you just never know when we're going to be live. We film the episodes whenever me and Scotty, and if we have a guest, whenever we get together and have time. And it will just notify you, hey, they're filming a live episode if you want to jump in and watch.
The Blood Brothers are on Periscope right now.
Yeah.
Filming
so sometimes we're filming the episode literally like 2 hours before it releases. Sometimes it's a week ahead of time, like it is right now. And it's like 11 p.m. here. So
we're doing late night.
Staying up late for this one.
Heck yeah.
All right, so yes. So I gave it away. We're in February as you're listening to this on the podcast.
A new series has begun.
Yes, and we are doing all things Freddy Krueger in the month of February.
And there's a lot to cover for Freddy Krueger.
Or I should say A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, which is the first of many Nightmares on Elm Streets.
That's true. So, yeah, we're going to have to go. We're not going to be able to do like a podcast per movie because there's I said 9 Freddy movies on the last one, and I think that's true, but I think that does include Freddy vs. Jason and maybe even another one because I counted all the DVDs I have. I only have like 7.
Yeah, I think with the Nightmare on Elm Street, there's
7.
It's
with the remake because they have the remake they did in 2010. The new Nightmare on Elm Street. That's right.
Yep.
So that would make 9 if you count Freddy vs. Jason and then the new Nightmare on Elm Street.
We'll definitely cover at least the 7.
Yeah, well,
We'll see how we dip into it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, for this episode, we're dedicating it solely to the original A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Which is the classic, which
Yeah.
some say is the best one, but we think it's it's the first one.
It's the first one. It's one of the only ones directed by Wes Craven and written by Wes Craven. He didn't come back into the mix until New Nightmare in '94, I believe it was. So 10 years later, and it actually, he wasn't planning on making it a series. It was just going to be a one-time film and then over with.
Yeah.
So he, they were actually, there was a little bickering between him and New Line Cinema on the ending because he wanted a sort of, at the end of the movie, she doesn't give Freddy any more energy, and she is saying, I'm not giving you any more of my energy. I don't believe in you. And then she walks out the door, and it's out the door of the house, and it's in this sort of fairy tale type land.
Yeah,
Everything's
it's like
real
bright
white and clean.
Clean, yeah.
Yeah, and he wanted her to just walk off into the fog, like waving bye to her mom. But New Line Cinema wanted a twist on it where, it's a dream within a dream within a dream, and the Freddy car kidnaps them and pulls the mom through the window, and that's what they ended up going with. And so it sort of lent itself to more sequels.
Yeah, to something, to another movie coming.
So then Craven pulled out and didn't want to do the sequel, and they had someone else do it. So
yeah, this is arguably the best or the classic, and.
But before we jump into the facts, this was like one of our, aside from Exorcist.
Yeah. As kids, this movie was one of the ones we'd watch all the time, and then we'd have to sleep with the lights on because it was so, as kids, it was freaky as hell.
Oh, yeah.
And, you want to be Freddy for Halloween, and you want all this stuff, and we just love Freddy, but we had nightmares too. And, it's the movie about if you fall asleep in a nightmare, Freddy comes and kills you.
I remember I was such a fucking stupidest Halloween costume ever, but I just was like, there's one Halloween where I was like, I really like Freddy.
Oh, I remember that.
But I really like this jester hat that I have. And then I'm just going to wear black. So I was like,
You were both, huh?
I dubbed myself. I was like, I wore a jester hat with a fucking Freddy claw with the glove, and then black, and I was like, I'm an evil jester.
He was very
so
queerish
stupid.
when he was a little boy.
So fucking stupid.
Yeah,
I can't believe I did that.
It was the worst thing ever.
They're like, and what are you? I'm like, I'm an evil jester. And the homeowner was like, what a fucking retard. Evil jester.
Evil jester.
What an idiot.
The homeowner's like, I freaking love Freddy. I can't believe you're putting him to shame with a jester hat.
I don't know
idiot.
I don't think it was so much that. It was just that I looked like a total idiot.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you used to wear cowboy boots and a backwards baseball helmet too. That was pretty bad too.
Yeah.
When you were a little kid.
At least I didn't have ketchup on my face 24/7.
Yeah.
like
I always
you.
had a dirty face. You're right. See, we had our pros and cons.
I did wear cowboy boots. Well, it was a cowboy hat too, but for a while. But then it was a backwards
Baseball
Phillies helmet.
Yeah, but cowboy boots with no socks and no. Were you even wearing pants?
Yeah.
Or
maybe shorts. I don't know.
Shorts, yeah. Cowboy boots with shorts.
But the baseball helmet, it wasn't even like. It was one of those cheap ass replica helmets you get.
It was ones you get from like the claw machine that grabs it.
No, because the helmet wouldn't fit.
Yeah,
But it was a cheap ass helmet. Yeah.
So, anyways, let's get back.
Yeah.
Let's get back to this.
So we watched Freddy Krueger. I remember our cousin Casey. He should listen to this because we've mentioned him like 4 times throughout these episodes so far. But I know he doesn't.
He had all the VHS.
I don't think he has any idea we even have a podcast right now.
We need to tell him. God dang it.
So yeah, he had all the VHS tapes. And
this is VHS land. This is before DVD.
So out of his house, he lived obviously at my aunt's where my mom grew up at the farm, and we always used to go. Not always, but a few times we were at his house, and we were like, "Oh, he has all the Freddys. He's so cool." And then we would try to watch them, and we were scared shitless the entire time. And we were just trying to be cool in front of each other, like, "Oh, I watched Freddy. I watched Freddy," and we were all like. We were like, 8 years old or 7 years old, and we're like, oh my God.
And then we were wussies for sleeping with the light on after that.
Yeah. Well, then we all just slept in the same room.
Yeah.
So.
Together.
No.
Under the
I always
same
called the
sleeping
couch.
bag.
No,
Yeah.
I always got
I was
couch.
joking.
I claimed couch right away all the time.
I think we pretty much watched all of them, all the the old ones.
Yeah.
When we were kids, we
Well,
watched
because
2 or 3 movies a night.
I remember, I think it was, if New Nightmare came out in 94, I think that was the year, I'm pretty sure. Then that one wasn't out yet. I remember being a little bit older. Well, obviously we were like 9 or 10 when New Nightmare came out.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were like 7 or 8, it was just the like original 6 movies.
Yeah. You have the whole
that we
box
had.
set too.
Yeah, so I do have that whole set here on DVD, which is now outdated.
Yeah.
We need to get it on Blu-ray.
I know. See,
Okay.
VHS, DVD, now Blu-ray. It's crazy.
So Freddy was the second traumatizing horror event after The Exorcist in my lifetime.
See, Freddy wasn't as bad because we went through the Exorcist phase, and that traumatized us way worse.
Exorcist is way scarier.
And then we're like, oh, Freddy, whatever. But it was still scary.
Exorcist is way freakier, still to this day.
Yeah.
I just, the concepts are still both as freaky because, you know what, like Halloween and Friday the 13th, and or even slasher flicks like Scream, they don't scare me as much because it's just like a normal, I say normal person coming at you. Mm-hmm. And I know like Jason can't be killed and Michael Myers as well. So it's like they never stop, but you're still dealing with like a person that like I feel like I could just like front kick him in the chest until they fall on the ground and then run away. But with like Freddy, he's in your dreams. So you're like, fuck, I gotta sleep, but you don't want to sleep, but you gotta sleep. And then with The Exorcist, it's like possession. So you're not dealing with a person.
Like a demon. Yeah, exactly.
So they're both pretty freaky. I mean, the possession one scares me the most all the time.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Of course, you could front kick Freddy in your dream, but he never gets hurt. It seems like he always comes back, and he's just got like that burned face, like he's been in a fire look. He has
been in a fire.
Yeah,
that's the whole story.
That's right, exactly.
But yeah, I know what you mean. But he's almost a part of the movie. It's almost like he's a doofus when he's getting hit and kicked around, and she breaks the shit over his head and stuff. And I don't know. It's almost
like
too much.
Like they pan the camera in. He looks like really big and those long arms and tall, and then they pan it back and he looks like he's like 4 feet tall.
Yeah, well,
and he's like running like
that was a body double.
Yeah, that was a body double. So that's he does seem like someone that you could like beat his ass, but he's a freaking legendary monster.
But he won't stay down, of course.
No, he's in your nightmares and he can kill you any way he wants.
So yeah, let's jump in here. A few random facts I wanted to throw in first before we sort of take the movie through all the way was, originally Wes Craven wrote this with Freddy Krueger as a child molester, and then changed it to child murderer due to they had sort of a string of child molestation crimes right around the time that they were filming the project. So he didn't want them to think that he was like copying that or capitalizing on that. So he changed it to murderer, and I think it's better anyways. Freddy, I wouldn't want him to be some sick psycho child molester.
Yeah, child molester is, even though child murder seems worse, but the molester, it's just the kid's is affected for life.
Well,
when he's murdered, he's dead.
But the molester doesn't strike me as it's not as I wouldn't fear it as much because. When I think of a child molester, I just think of someone who's like real disturbed and not necessarily dangerous, like gonna kill you, but just like fucked up in the head and awkward and just takes advantage of little kids who he can overpower.
So I don't think it would have settled in as like, oh, he's not even scary.
Because these older teenage guys would have been able to put up a fight and kick his ass, So. He was also named after a bully Wes Craven dealt with in school during his childhood. So Fred Krueger was the exact name of a bully. So that guy now probably feels like an asshole.
Which they used, which they used Fred Krueger in this first Nightmare on Elm Street a lot. They didn't really use the word Freddy a lot. They called him Fred.
Yeah,
Krueger
and
a
he
lot.
calls himself Freddy a couple times in the movie. But yeah, after that it stuck. It changed.
And I don't know if you wanted, but Wes Craven kind of got the idea about the articles in the LA Times about the Asians who died in the middle of the nightmares, of course, and they were, he kind of got the idea of we could make a movie about that.
Yeah,
what they called again the Asian.
Well, the Asian death syndrome is what they dubbed it, but you have to sort of start from the beginning with the story about how it came about. Is that there were these refugees from Cambodia that came into the U.S. and they were having these nightmares. They were teenage kids that were refugees that came here. They were having these nightmares, and they were telling their parents, like, we're having these nightmares, and they're horrible. And the parents were like, no, just go to sleep. Just get more sleep, and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
and they didn't want to sleep, and so the next time they all slept, like, a lot of them died. And they were trying to stay up, and they found evidence. One had like a coffee maker in his room, and they were trying to take drugs to keep him awake. And even the last, what was it? One of them,
the coffee maker in Nightmare on Elm Street too.
Well, and one of them stayed awake for, I think they said a week, all week, and then he finally went to sleep and died.
Oh my God.
And they were complaining about the nightmares.
Superstition.
So but it really happened. That did.
Yeah, it kind of drove the idea for this movie.
Yeah, so Wes Craven heard about that and thought it was perfect for a movie and wrote the screenplay. So
crazy how that happens.
Yeah, but
and a couple other facts, I guess you can go. So this is a film project that Craven's classmates had at Clarkson University.
Yeah.
And it was filmed.
Well, his students. It wasn't classmates. It was his students.
It was his students, yeah. And his students filmed it along Elm Street in Potsdam, New York, which is the same town in the movie, but it's spelt backwards.
Well, in their movie.
In their movie, yeah. Was Mad Stop and not Potsdam. So that was kind of, he must have the idea before. He must have had the idea then.
Yeah, the story behind that was that they, his students filmed something, a short film that was something similar, but not totally the same.
Yeah, which is kind of ironic too.
But he did write this. He was turned down by all the major studios at the time, Universal, whoever else, and then New Line Cinema.
Walt Disney.
Well,
Disney
yeah,
Pictures
so that
too.
was, Walt Disney actually made him an offer and would take it if he made it appropriate for children. I don't know how the fuck that was going to work.
Did Disney read the script?
I don't know how you make Freddy Krueger
the company
like appropriate for children. Just some scary guy in your dreams. I don't know. Maybe with some shining moral at the end of the story.
So
I don't
Craven
know.
turned it down. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
There's a shining moral at the end. No blood or no child murdering.
Yeah. So, I guess New Line Cinema was just distributing at the time, and then this was their first actual movie that they made.
New Line Cinema.
Not cinnamon.
New Line Cinnamon.
That sounds tastier.
Yeah. New line of cinnamon.
New Line Cinnamon.
Or sniff a line of cinnamon.
So they took this and backed it, and it's sort of what got them going off the ground, New Line Cinema. So, and then also,
it did.
Before we jump into it too, this was obviously Johnny Depp's first film. A lot of people know that or have heard that.
People think Crybaby is, but no, it was Nightmare on Elm Street.
And they actually, some other guys that went out for the part, Charlie Sheen, John Cusack, Kiefer Sutherland, Nicolas Cage, but they all wanted too much money. And Johnny Depp actually showed up with a friend to audition, and left his headshot, all that kind of stuff. And Wes Craven said he went to his daughter and his daughter's friend, and he said, I have these 3. He narrowed it down to like 3 to 5 guys. And he's like, I have these guys, and like, who do you think? And they instantly were like, Johnny Depp, right there, Johnny Depp. They didn't know who he was. They just thought he was the cutest guy, I think.
which he was great. He had like
Yeah.
that rockin' mullet looking
Oh,
like
his
haircut.
hair was fucking ridiculous.
God, it was just like it was like a mullet. I mean, it was just crazy all over the place.
It was crazy.
He did great. And then of course the girl that plays Nancy, which was Heather Langenkamp. They wanted someone that wasn't like popular yet and like celebrity status.
Yeah.
But so they ended up casting her, but she had a competition of like 200 girls.
Yeah.
And to name a few, there was Demi Moore, Courtney Cox too. So just name a few, So that was she beat out those girls too, those ladies.
They probably wanted too much money too.
Yeah.
Well, they were. I don't know if they were famous at the time, but
Not
But
1984.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a year before we were born.
Yeah, gosh. Old films. You gotta love them.
So-
Johnny Depp's old then. Sorry, Johnny Depp.
Yeah, he's.
He is getting up there. He is getting up there.
Oh, hey!
Oh my
What's that?
God.
What's that sound?
What is that? Oh, it's hurting my ears.
Those of you
that.
watching on Periscope are like, "What sound?" Because we put it in after the edit.
Yep, that's right.
But it's time for the horror halftime.
Jeez, we're rambling along here.
Yeah, where we give you a little activity and you can be the horror freak of the week, win some free gear. So this week's activity is really simple, short, down to the point. We talked before about the Freddy glove, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I had
The
it when I was a
classic.
kid. Almost everyone I know like has the plastic Freddy glove somewhere. So what I want you to do is grab your Freddy glove. You have to have one. Grab your Freddy glove and just take a picture with it. If you have the mask, throw the mask on.
If you're naked,
Yeah,
it's fine,
whatever.
too.
Well, it has to be posted on Facebook.
Yeah, so you better not do that.
yeah. So grab the Freddy glove. Take the most original, coolest picture with the Freddy glove, and post it on our Facebook page at facebook.com/cultclassichorror. And the best one's gonna win some free stuff. Simple as that. So take the picture, throw it on there, and we'll be good to go.
Easy peasy, guys. Get your pictures up.
All right, that concludes the horror halftime. And yeah, let's blast down this list here real quick
Let's
because
jump into this movie.
we're just we're dilly dallying like crazy
Yeah,
here.
I had some more notes there, but let's just jump into it.
So we start out the movie, and we see Freddy. It's the table scene where he's just building the claws.
Building his glove.
Yeah.
Putting the steak knives on there.
Yep. So that wasn't Robert Englund. They had just a stand-in guy hand there. So I don't think anyone would ever notice it wasn't
Yeah.
Robert Englund's hand. And this is her first dream, technically at the beginning before the credits. She's in the sewer-looking place, and the lamb comes across,
Yeah.
which they actually had to kick the lamb right in the ass to get it to move anywhere because it wasn't moving. And that whole sequence was filmed in the Lincoln Heights jail, which I don't know where that is.
Which they call it the boiler room.
Yeah,
but
it's
it was
any of the
filmed-
boiler scenes. Any of the boiler scenes in the whole movie are at Lincoln Heights jail,
Yeah.
which is now condemned.
Yeah, because of asbestos.
Yeah, that whole area was filled with asbestos. The pipes were insulated with it.
Like during that time they were too.
Yeah, so
they were breathing it in that
While
whole
they were
time.
in there,
they
they're
were
just
filming it.
the asbestos was there, and then they got out, and then soon after it was condemned. So yeah, they were breathing that shit in.
And then you see the girl, walking in with the nightgown and stuff too. So Wes Craven was saying that they had to go look. The nightgown had to be see-through quality. Just to engage the guests.
See-through quality.
Yeah.
I guess I missed that.
Yeah, it had to be so they went through different nightgowns to see which one was the best, which you never would think. Just wear a freaking nightgown.
I thought they said sequin quality, but I guess it was see-through.
They said
quality.
see-through.
Sequin.
Sequin. Maybe
See,
it
I
was
don't know.
sequin.
Was there sequins on it? I have
But
no
see-through
idea.
quality. I mean,
Shit.
it's got to be see-through quality. So yeah. But anyways,
Yeah.
most of it was filmed in Los Angeles.
Yep. Because then they go to the high school, and that's Marshall High School in Silver Lake, which
That's
is right in that area.
near Silver Lake. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And one of the other facts that I had, the actual address, the actual house was in L.A. at 1428 North Genesee Avenue, but the fictional address was 1428 Elm Street, which was in Springwood, Ohio.
Yeah.
So there's a fun fact there too.
Fun. That was really fun.
L.A. stuff. Living in L.A.
We're assuming, I mean, that fact, a couple of the facts were off Wikipedia, and I think one of them contradicted from what we heard from Wes Craven, so I don't know if you can believe everything that we find on there.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Some of them, yeah. Some of that stuff that we have there, you never know.
I forgot which one
be
was it
false.
that contradicted, but anyways, so yeah, we talked about Johnny Depp's hair and how they picked Johnny Depp out of the headshots.
And they're saying he was, for being his first film, that they ran his lines with him a lot because he was terrified that he was going to mess him up. So that was one of the things.
Yeah, they were saying
camera.
that scene where one of the first scenes where they're in the living room and he has the tape recorder there and he's on the phone with his mom. They said they took so many takes for the timing to get right and everything.
That old looking boombox, God, that thing's ancient.
And I wrote this down because, when they go into the backyard, Johnny Depp's checking out what the hell the noise was, like any smart person does in a horror movie.
Of course. What the fuck's that noise?
And, he gets tackled by...
Corey?
Yeah, well...
That's his real name, I think.
Well, Corey was his credited real name, but then I think his actual name is now something different. Mm-hmm. But anyways, yeah. He's tackled and he has that garden tool, and Wes Craven says, I still have that garden tool in my garage right now. And he said that about so many of the props in the movie that he's like, I still have that. I still have that.
About the hammer,
in my garage.
The hammer that comes down and hits Freddy too.
Still has the hammer hanging above his door in his office, and he has all of these things from that film still. Mm-hmm. So I just thought that was crazy. Usually I would just junk all that shit.
Oh yeah. But that meant something. It's the first Nightmare on Elm Street. You want to keep that stuff.
They also talked about how cheap the wardrobe was.
Oh yeah,
all the clothing.
that scene you were talking about. They said Heather Langdon that played Nancy. She said that she would often get her jeans mixed up with Johnny Depp's who played Glenn. So they would wear like different. They had like the same size jeans.
She said when they felt too tight on her, she knew she was probably wearing Johnny Depp's jeans. So
they said they got all their clothes from like Kmart.
Yeah. So he had the nut squeezers on.
Oh yeah.
He had the jeans on that turn your balls into a camel toe, basically.
Oh yeah, that's the worst. I was wearing some of those jeans. I'm wearing tighter jeans.
The pants I have on right now, they sort of.
I can kind of see a camel toe going on.
I can sort
of
see my left nut at least.
I don't know why I'm looking, but it's just. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I think I can see some form there.
These days, the tighter jeans are coming back.
They're coming back into style.
I usually wear baggy jeans, but like the last couple of years, I've been wearing tighter jeans.
I just had this conversation with Rudy the Garcia the other day. Mm-hmm. He was on our last episode.
Yes, he was.
About how we used to wear Jinkos back in the day.
Oh, Jinkos were the best.
Can you fucking believe Jinkos? I mean,
biggest bell bottoms you've ever seen.
Oh, and I didn't buy like the really big twin cannons, like the
twin
flared
cannons.
Out.
Oh my gosh.
My first pair were skunks. Mm-hmm. About the skunks with the stripe down the side.
And like they weren't like just bell bottoms; they were like bell bottom all the way,
way up to your waist.
Up to your waist.
How is that
it
fucking?
That wide.
I cannot believe we're such idiots. Like, if I were our parents back then, I'd be like, "You're not wearing these stupid, ridiculous jeans.
Yep.
Like, look how fucking stupid these jeans."
And we love those jeans. We'd have a pair for like 3 years. We'd always wear them.
And then we cut them
safety pin them and stuff.
And then we cut them into shorts.
Yeah.
When they got bad, we used to BMX a lot. Like we used to dirt jump on our bikes. And we'd like wear that shit while we're dirt jumping. Yeah. Like I'd have to roll my right leg pant leg up, and the crotch is like hanging down to like the top tube of your frame, and it's just
it was bad.
Fucking
getting
stupid.
Them caught your chain and shit.
Of course, I had like wallet chain and everything.
Yeah.
And
we were like metalheads too.
Yeah,
so
it was. I can't
dyed my hair blue
were.
when I had hair.
They were like some of the jeans were like over $100 too back then.
They were expensive. We used to love those.
Stupid.
Things.
Rudy said they're making a comeback.
Yeah, well, see, tight jeans, baggy jeans.
There's no way the baggy jeans will make a comeback right now. The Jinko jeans, unless they're making them like these tight jeans now. So I don't know.
Yeah. It's
Anyways, we're moving on.
Yeah,
Jinko jeans.
Gotta love those Jinko jeans.
So yeah, wardrobe was cheap, and then I guess Nike gave him free shoes.
Yeah.
for the production.
Free shoes and socks, I believe, too.
Then it goes into where she's sleeping, and it's the spandex wall.
Let's keep talking about clothes here. Spandex.
Yeah, spandex. They actually had like 8-foot sheet of spandex that they framed out and put it on that wall
In Nancy's room.
Yeah, and they had like one of the tech guys or whoever, act like Freddy coming through the wall, and it worked great. It was no CGI, no nothing. That was actually someone leaning forward through some spandex.
And then when the cross obviously falls off, and then she goes back to check it, and they switched in another room to where it's obviously off camera.
Yeah, well,
and it was a hard wall.
Yeah, I don't know if they switched the room, or they fixed the wall or something.
Because then they in the movie they have her knocking it just so the viewer knows it's a real wall.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people probably thought that was computer generated, or maybe they didn't.
Yeah,
1984. I don't know what kind of shit they were doing, but I would have been like, if I was the guy that was tasked with leaning through the spandex, I would have messed with them. I would have like put my cock form through the spandex.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like my ass.
Yeah, I mean, how many takes? They probably did a few takes.
Because that shit like formed perfectly.
Oh, it was formed big time.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me. We keep talking about form of balls and stuff.
I'm looking at yours right now.
I might as well just go forward with the conversation. Is that I don't know if you remember. So we have this friend. We have a friend.
We just have a friend.
I won't name any names here, but we our parents have a theater, and he was dancing at a recital there, like a little. He was dancing. You probably know who I'm talking about.
I'm trying to remember.
And he had these like black leather pants on.
Oh,
they were
God.
super tight.
Yep, I remember now.
And like, it's funnier if you know the guy, because I won't like go into it.
God.
But it's funnier if you know him. But you could see like the exact form of his entire penis with like the head and the shaft and everything.
And he didn't realize it at all.
No, he had no idea.
Really bad.
And he was like going to town dancing in front of everybody. And this was like a recital where there's kids too. Like their parents come watch their daughter play piano. My mom teaches piano.
Just say everyone's hands were over their mouth going, "Oh my God, what is going on?"
I mean, maybe. They were probably like being nice and just smiling, but I could see
our friend that was doing it.
I could see his entire penis.
Yes.
Just with a black stuff over it. Anyways.
Don't wear tight spandex, gentlemen, please.
So then shortly after is when the blonde chick dies.
Blonde chick with the guy. They're doing it in like the bed.
Then she falls asleep, has the nightmare.
They're saying when the pebble's hitting the window, that was a tooth that got thrown into the window.
It's a pebble that actually hits the window, and then it's a tooth that's stuck in the window.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, then that's her dreaming technically.
Yeah. That scene was pretty freaky. She was like crawling up on the wall, she's getting dragged by Freddy.
Well, she gets torn up, and then she gets slashed. And so the way they did that is they actually had a rotating set. The whole room rotated. Mm-hmm. So they literally had to glue down everything in the room that could move. And, they had the camera upside down at one point. So the camera would stay, the room would rotate. If that makes, maybe I'm saying that wrong. The camera would rotate with the room. Yes, the camera would rotate with the room. And the actress would just go with the room. And you can sort of tell that when you watch that scene. The room's actually rotating, and she's like going with it.
Well, with the 1.8 million budget they had, the movie really did have some decent effects.
Such a small budget.
Yeah, for the tiny budget,
So I mean, 1.8 is what Craven said it was. Of course, Wikipedia was like 1.1, so there's a discrepancy right there.
Yeah.
With an original budget of $700,000, but
and then I think it went on to do like 28 million.
Yeah, so they definitely made plenty of money on that one. So
and then it goes to her. Well, her and her dream, of course, before the wall crawling is when we were talking about. You see Freddy with the long arms scraping the side, and with the extended fake arms.
And then when it goes back to him, it's like this 4-foot tall guy running.
Yeah,
it's basically what it looked like.
Yeah, exactly.
So they had some double in there, and they.
You guys got to watch that. And
they even admitted that it was not the best choice to have some 4-foot body double for Freddy.
Yeah. And I do love that scene when that Corey guy or whatever his name is, he throws her body and he falls back to like the lamp and just biffs it hard, and it's just funny how it looks. And he's in his whitey tidies and stuff.
Oh yeah. When she's dying.
Yeah. But
so, I mean, the next thing I had was her in the bathtub then, which is shortly after, the famous scene. She falls asleep in the bathtub. His hand comes up.
Yeah.
And so they actually, what they did there is they have, it was a 2-story set built, and underneath the bathtub they have this like 8-foot deep tank.
Yeah. Bottomless tub.
Yeah. Oh, that's where Wikipedia got it wrong.
Oh.
We got to check our facts here,
Yeah.
because in Wikipedia they said, they put the tub on top of a swimming pool, which is totally untrue.
Yeah, which is not right.
They just had a 8-foot deep tank underneath the tub.
Yeah.
They had a guy in scuba gear with the Freddy claw, and he would go up, and so
and they had black plastic laying on the pool.
well, so that's for the next shot.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
So the tub had the tank under it. It had like a single 2x4 for what's her name? Nancy. For Nancy to sit on. So she's sort of holding herself up, and then when it goes to the shot of pulling her down, now cut they're in a swimming pool in the backyard of one of the tech guys, and they laid black plastic over the whole pool,
over the entire pool,
and they cut like a bathtub shaped hole.
Yep.
And they're filming from below with the scuba gear and everything. And
Which
so,
is pretty freaky. You're
yeah,
underwater,
well, they said that was freaky
all dark.
and they had the actress under there too, and he said they were all super hungover because they had a rap party before that.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
just
you get a wake call when you're in a cold pool.
yeah,
So that's probably
underneath
the
black
best way.
plastic, apparently.
Feeling like you're being suffocated.
So,
God,
that's how they did that one.
I hate it when I'm in black plastic. It's just the
what
worst.
are you talking about?
I was trying to make a joke, but
No,
it didn't work.
that didn't fucking
God
work at
damn
all.
it.
Just
Oh,
stop.
shit.
Just stop it. So then after, I mean,
Yeah, here we.
they're watching.
It happened again.
They're watching Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
You see, we try
Nancy's
our darndest.
watching. Nancy's
Yeah,
watching. Right?
we try our darndest to leave the Evil Dead out of
Yeah,
everything.
It just happens to seep its
it
way.
just sneaks its way right
into
back
everything.
in. And Wes Craven actually admitted. So if you're listening to our previous episodes, we talk about how in Evil Dead they have, the Hills Have Eyes poster that's torn in half in the basement, as if to say. Okay, well, so here's the story.
Let's hear it.
In The Hills Have Eyes, there is a torn poster of God, what movie was it? Did they say?
Was it Rhiannon?
No. Nope. God damn, how did I not?
Well, there's a poster from.
I think it was Jaws.
Yeah, it was Jaws. I think.
I think in The Hills Have Eyes, there is a poster torn in half, a Jaws poster torn in half. As if to say, whatever is happening in Jaws, it could not be as bad as what's happening in The Hills Have Eyes. So, which was Wes Craven. And so then Evil Dead, in the basement, they have The Hills Have Eyes poster torn in half, so as to say, whatever's happening in The Hills Have Eyes is not as bad as what's happening in Evil Dead. So then now they have her watching the Evil Dead in this, and Wes Craven even admitted, saying, they used one of my movie posters in their film, so I had to use some of their film.
There was a clip of
Yeah.
Evil Dead of Bruce Campbell, of course.
Yeah.
The shot. But I think Sam Raimi and Wes Craven are buds too and stuff. But it's just it was cool to see that in there, of course.
So they had to slip in the Evil Dead.
And this is one of my other notes. When the centipede comes out of the girl's mouth.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about too.
That was an actual centipede, and it got loose on set.
Yeah, it was some kind of poisonous big one.
Yeah, it was like
Millipede, or
huge.
I don't know what the hell it was.
Centipede,
Millipede, I don't know.
Millipede, yeah.
But yeah, it got loose, and no one would go back in there because they were all afraid, and they like took lunch, and then some random sound guy was like, "Oh, I got it. Here it is." So, but yeah, they actually like shipped that thing in or something.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
And it actually came out of the girl's mouth.
Yeah, well, not
I
the
know.
actual girl.
Yeah.
Probably some dummy mouth.
Yeah.
But
And then
so yeah, that happens. Then she wakes up and the mom comes in. Yeah, she wakes up. The mom comes in to check on her, which at this point we don't. It's not obvious. I mean, the mom looks all disheveled and like she's been through hell. Mm-hmm. And I guess later we find out it's because
messy mom hair.
Yeah, I guess later we find out it's because she drinks at night.
Yeah,
but it honestly looks like she was just getting the shit banged out of her.
Yeah,
like in the other room.
She came in like, my God.
Her hair's all fucked up and she's in like a robe.
Mm-hmm. And this
it looks like she was banging big time.
Yeah, she was banging. I'd probably bang the mom.
Not
Maybe.
me.
She does like. I was telling Danny this. She kind
know.
of looks like Peg Bundy or Katie Seagal, in a way.
I don't see it. I
don't know. The mom does.
I would not bang the mom. She had like her face looked fake or something.
Yeah, she had a little butter face.
She seriously looked like a Mr. Potato Head. Like they plopped her lips on and like her eyes were plopped on, and then she had this like plastic hair that popped on.
Yeah.
She fucking looked like Mr. Potato Head.
She did. It looked like she had a spray tan on or something, too.
Oh, definitely spray tan.
Yeah, spray tan for sure.
So, no, I don't think I'd do her. I mean, maybe. I mean, I might let her suck it, but I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. I just. There's only some certain shots where I probably would, but other than that, I probably wouldn't. And the messy hair was, of course, right after the oatmeal stairs when you're stepping into the stairs that sunk in.
Yeah.
Or pancake batter.
We couldn't quite agree on what the hell that was. So, so then they go to do the sleep test at the doctor's office for the neurologist, whatever the hell he is.
Yeah.
So the nurse is Wes Craven's ex-wife in that scene, in case you wanted to know.
That's right, yes.
And then the actual doctor, I forgot the actor's name, but he's the voice of Roger Rabbit.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he went on to do a lot of voice work. Was a good artist too, but yeah, voice of Roger Rabbit in the doctor right there.
And of course, the mom is smoking a cigarette inside the clinic, where nowadays, you'd never be able to actually do that.
Yeah, that shows you how old the movie is. She just lights up right in the clinic.
Yeah.
So then shortly after that is when poor old Johnny Depp dies.
The epic bed scene.
Yeah, the blood geyser.
And the TV and the record player goes down in with
They can't call it the blood flood because Evil Dead took that already. So
but the blood geyser, it works.
And they use the same set, the same spinning room. Gee, sorry. Fucking old man here.
Well, it is getting late, but we are going.
So yeah, the room spinning, same set. And I guess they used more of like a red water for that so it would flow right as they turned it, because there's a lot more blood in this scene. And as they turned the room, they wanted the water to sort of drip and flow right. But what happened is that there was so much of it that it sort of helped turn the room. Mm-hmm. And so the room turned faster than they expected. And a bunch of blood sloshed out the door and like covered Wes Craven and Nancy. And so they were just covered like head to toe.
That was insane.
In this blood water.
The way it looked, it was like an ocean of blood on the top. They said they used something like 500 gallons of blood during the shoot. And it just looked so crazy how it was spinning. You could tell that they were doing that camera spinning thing because it was like sloshing on the ceiling and stuff. Yeah,
you can, if you watch it, you can see it like running to the sides. Mm-hmm. So
how about Depp's short shirt and jersey?
Oh yeah, his belly shirt.
Yeah, he was wearing like a belly shirt.
That's like the kind of thing we used to wear when we played football. You know, like under your shoulder pads.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I don't think people do that anymore.
And they were saying they used the same house to film in.
Over the course of these 7 movies or more. Yeah, same neighborhood, the couple houses, like the 2 houses there.
Yeah.
They just said these poor people in the neighborhood has just been,
so that
housing the Nightmare on Elm Street movies for years.
The neighborhood must be like cursed. Oh my god. Hey, they get a lot of publicity though, for sure.
They also talked about how they searched endlessly to find the perfect sound for the Freddy claws scraping on the metal. Mm-hmm. And what they finally settled on was a steak knife scratching on the underside of a metal folding chair. Mm-hmm. So that's that secret Freddy claw sound.
See, that's what that sound is.
And when his arms are stretched out and it's sparking, I think almost every time the claws are sparking, they had like a car battery involved with that somehow, and they hooked it up so it created the sparks. So That's a cool little fact.
And another cool little fact is the watch that Nancy's wearing that she times herself when she's sleeping was actually Wes Craven's watch, which
his Timex.
Back then, yeah, it was, Timex was a nice watch, and of course it's an old looking watch. But he said he paid like $250.
Well, that's because it was right when the digital watches were coming out. It was like the first of the digital watches. He's like, I paid $250 for that watch, and now you can buy one for like $10.
Now you can get one in like a gumball machine. God, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah. Towards the end there, when she's in her dream and she burns him, she throws that like bottle. I just had to point this out. She has like a bottle of gasoline.
It's like a huge mason jar.
Yeah, and it's not even in her dream. It's when he pulls her.
Yeah.
When she pulls him out. Yeah. They go to the basement and there's this like huge jar / bottle.
Thick ass mason jar.
And I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but she throws it directly at him and it like hits him in the chest and breaks, so it like shatters.
I know.
That was the stupidest fucking thing.
And like the hammer comes out too and it hits him in the stomach. Yeah, but
it's like
but
there's no way this fucking huge bottle would shatter from hitting him in the chest.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm usually not a nitpicky asshole that's like, oh, well, did you notice in that scene that his two mustache hairs were pointing this way instead of that way when they switch back to his face? Like, I'm not a fucking asshole like that. If you guys are like that, just know that like I don't really like you that much. Like,
yeah, we don't want
like come on, the movies are there for like to be entertaining. I don't care if the fucking hand moved on the clock moved 2 minutes when it shouldn't have moved at all. I don't really give a fuck.
It's not gonna be perfect.
So,
which we don't know. Kruger's chest might have been made out of concrete.
I don't know. He could be Iron Man under there. Like I'm not. So that I'm just saying I'm not usually that guy.
Yeah.
But I sort of was like when I saw that. I was like, that's sort of bullshit right there. Like, that's ridiculous.
And like the light bulb with the gunpowder in, and she turns it on and explodes. That was kind of.
It was a little cheesy.
But that's why you gotta love these kind of movies. It's just the best.
The last note I had on one of their effects was when the mom gets burnt. Freddy jumps on top of her. The dad puts the blanket on and puts the blanket out and then pulls it back, puts the fire out, pulls the blanket back, and it's just the skeleton mom dropping into the bed.
Disappears into the bed.
Yeah, and they actually did the lighting underneath the bed, instead of some kind of strobe or light effect, they just had an arc welder going below that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they had someone like arc welding, and it put off the light effect that they needed for that.
With the fog machine going at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So that was interesting to find out.
And it was kind of funny during that scene. I know the mom and dad are divorced.
Yeah.
But like it happens, and Nancy's like in shambles, and like the dad's like, "All right, come on," and just leaves without saying anything.
The dad doesn't give a shit that she died.
I know,
he was so happy. He hates that bitch.
Yeah.
And her potato head face.
Yeah. Oh my god, the butter face.
He was glad. The dad, he sort of had like a fake face too.
Yeah, like spray tan again.
Or like he had a shitload of makeup on or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think that's just how his face is in real life, but it was a little weird. So.
Yeah, and then of course at the very end when she's like, she tells Freddy, "You're nothing. You're shit," and he tries to go after her, and then that sound. Bing, 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 bing,
yeah,
bing,
well, there was plenty.
Happens. But it was just obviously that's what we talked about earlier, to where he tries to get her and he disappears, and then and then it opens with the bright sky, and
there were plenty of those corny 80s sounds throughout this movie. The music, the drums, the very 80s, but we appreciate that.
Yeah. We appreciate the mom getting pulled to that little door.
That was fucking
little
awesome.
Window.
I love how she gets pulled
like
through
the tiny window she gets pulled through. I love it at the very end there.
It was great.
So this will lead us up to the next episode.
Yeah, so that's all I got. That wrapped up A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, we got through the whole movie. We quickly did it. We got some good facts, guys.
So that we dedicated an episode to the first one because it's just so paramount. It's like the very first classic, A Nightmare on Elm Street. So yeah, the next 3 episodes will all be about Freddy Krueger.
Yep.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Excuse me.
The other Nightmare on Elm Street 2, 3, 4.
Well, we're gonna try and tackle
5,
like
6,
the next
7.
8 movies as best as we can. But so we'll probably be spreading out. You know, the next episode might be covering sort of the next 3 movies, and we might just talk about the ins and outs of those. You know, they're not all of them are as good as the first one.
We'll
tap on those, and if we're lucky enough to get, we have some feelers out there. If we're lucky enough to get an interview with somebody, then obviously that will take precedent over just going through the movies. Which I don't know. I don't know what you guys like better. Let us know. Do you like it better when we interview someone, or do you like it better when we dig down into these movies?
Yeah.
And we'll give you more of what you want.
Let us know what you like. We've
obviously
interviewed a lot.
Well, yeah. Obviously, the interviews will come easier as we grow the podcast a little more. Mm-hmm. But we already had some amazing interviews with a lot of the cast of The Evil Dead.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Yeah, and
Evil Dead 2 as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Danny Hicks from Evil Dead 2, Betsy Baker on Evil Dead, and
Teresa
Tilly on Evil Dead. So yeah, we'll keep plugging away, getting these celebrity interviews going here, or anyone who had something to do with the movie. We'd love to talk to about their experience on the set. So
and maybe get one of you guys, lucky fan, on with us as well. So
yeah, that concludes the show for tonight.
The shoe.
So make sure to download Periscope, follow us, search for us just search Cult Horror Show on Periscope. We'll pop up. You'll see the image of the artwork for the show, very recognizable. And it'll give you an automatic notification when we're going live, so you can catch the episode early. Like we're still recording on Periscope now, but no one's watching, so good test run.
Yes.
And then, of course, we're on Facebook, facebook.com/cultclassichorror, Instagram @cultclassichorror, and Twitter @culthorrorshow, and Periscope at the same as well. So, thanks for joining us, you guys. We're actually off to Vegas for the week.
Yes, we are off
so
to
that's
Vegas.
why we're recording the show early. Of course, you don't know that.
Yeah, you don't know that because it's going to be on Wednesday. It is Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh, hey, it is Wednesday at midnight.
Wednesday at midnight. Oh my God, it's like midnight right now.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
So thanks for joining us, everybody, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
See you guys next week.
Don't you blame the movies? Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
Oh, yes. There will be blood.